Now at 7 o'clock, a man accused of stalking a parent whose child was killed in the Sandy Hook school shooting has a hearing in Portland today. Sunrise reporter Thomas Schultz will share what we know about this case with a live report outside the courthouse. Also this morning, a 9-year-old taken from Multnomah County is recovered in Central Oregon after the alleged kidnapper leads law enforcement on a 30-minute chase. How it ended coming up. Plus,
if this rain continues, it will. I mean, there's so many steep slopes down there, so there may be other ones.
That Portland geology professor from Portland State is talking about the landslide that took out part of Highway 229 near the Oregon coast last week. He says this week's weather could lead to even more landslides in that area. Sunrise, streaming live here at 7 o'clock, starts right now. Good Tuesday morning. Thanks for joining us here on the Sunrise Show. I'm Drew Carney. China Green has the morning off, but Rod Hill is back. So we turn to Rod and Chris now for a look at weather and traffic.
Did China just leave as I'm coming back? Man, I'm offended a little bit.
He's back tomorrow, so the whole crew will be here for a Wednesday show.
All right. Good morning to you. It's crazy mild out there again. We have temperatures generally in the 50s out the door. We have this area of rain that a couple hours ago extended all the way back to Tillamook. So it is breaking up as it slowly migrates off to the east, and we will get into some dry time. In fact, I think we get into lots of dry time for a pretty nice Tuesday overall. Good visibility in Salem, where you folks have not had much rain this morning. 56 degrees right now, dry. Light rain continuing over the city of Portland, 53. Here's the planner. We'll be mid-50s at 11 o'clock. Could hit 60 today. That is the record for today's date, by the way. 56 at 5 p.m. And check this out real quick. 4:27 sundown. The sun goes down at 4:28 tomorrow. Actually, the winter solstice, of course, is this coming weekend when winter officially begins. Just a few daytime showers. Stronger system comes in tonight. Here's Chris.
Okay, Rod. Well, in your absence, of course, rain was the big story, right? And the flooding and whatnot. Just a reminder, of course, that slide on Oregon Highway 229 that remains closed here north of Siletz, and that is indefinitely right now. There's a look at that photo from ODOT. You saw that incredible drone video from earlier. The workaround for this is, of course, US 101. All right, back to the freeway drive. It's a little wet out there this morning. Not as wet as it's going to be tonight and tomorrow morning, but for now, the drive times are starting to build a bit. I-5 from Clark County now up to 24 minutes. Main Street to the Fremont Bridge. There's a live look out near Murray Boulevard, your eastbound commute here with the taillights lighting up towards Cedar Hills Boulevard. And last but not least, over on the east side, there's the Banfield right now. Really slow and go coming in from I-205. That's pretty normal for this hour of a Tuesday morning commute. 23 minutes now. Get you in from Troutdale to the I-5 split. Drew?
All right, thank you, Chris. A man accused of stalking a parent whose child was killed in the Sandy Hook school shooting 13 years ago is scheduled for a hearing here in Portland this morning. The parent he's accused of harassing now works at OHSU. Sunrise reporter Thomas Schultz joins us live outside the Multnomah County Courthouse. So Thomas, what else can you tell us about this case?
Yeah, well, Drew, Multnomah County prosecutors say that Kevin Perfield has terrorized families who lost children in this shooting and others. They characterize Perfield as a conspiracy theorist. He was first convicted of stalking and harassing family members of people killed in a movie theater mass shooting in Colorado back in 2013. 6 years later, he was convicted again for stalking the then editor of the Oregonian. This time, Perfield allegedly stalked a man named Robert Parker, whose child was murdered in Sandy Hook. Parker works at OHSU and has been targeted by conspiracy theorists like media figure Alex Jones. Prosecutors say Perfield messaged and called Parker, claiming his daughter was never killed in Sandy Hook. In October and November, prosecutors say Perfield called OHSU multiple times, even asking if Parker was there. And today, right behind us at around 8 o'clock this morning, Perfield is expected in court for a hearing that is to determine if he's fit to proceed in a legal case here. If he is, he's scheduled to be arraigned on December 30th. Drew?
All right, Thomas Schultz live for us this morning in downtown Portland. A grand jury indicted a 19-year-old from Wilsonville who was shot by deputies earlier this month after they say he ran at them with an axe. Cabril Evans faces several felony charges related to the incident that happened 2 weeks ago in unincorporated Clackamas County. The grand jury also determined that the two deputies who shot him were justified in using deadly force. Evans is still in the hospital and will go to jail once he's discharged. Next, we have an update on an alleged serial burglar who was also indicted by a grand jury for stealing from local convenience stores more than 24 times. But the day after his indictment, he was released from jail and is now accused of stealing again. Surveillance video here shows Timothy Ray Jones going behind the counter at a Plaid Pantry to steal cigarettes. He allegedly hit Plaid Pantry stores 30 times in the past 9 months and is accused of stealing nearly $38,000 in cigarettes and cigars. Police finally arrested Jones last month and he was booked into jail. 2 weeks later, a grand jury indicted him on 58 counts of theft and burglary. But the very next day, Jones got out of jail after posting just $25. And within days of that, he allegedly stole 3 more times from local Plaid Pantry stores.
My associates are frustrated. I'm past frustrated. I'm pissed off.
Should this have happened?
Well, no, it shouldn't. And I'll tell you, holding individuals just like this accountable is one of my top priorities. And I am as frustrated as anyone when I see individuals out reoffending.
There's an arrest warrant out for Jones, so police are looking for him, but so far, they haven't found him. Deputies recovered a 9-year-old who was taken from Multnomah County after chasing the child's alleged kidnapper through Central Oregon. The Deschutes County Sheriff's Office says 46-year-old Charity Carter led deputies on a 30-minute chase with the child in the car. The pursuit started in Lapine and ended near Redmond. During the chase, they say Carter hit at least 7 cars, including 5 law enforcement vehicles. You see some of the damage here on your screen. Deputies used spike strips to stop her on Highway 97 and arrest her. Carter's charges include custodial interference, although it's still not clear what exactly her relationship is with that 9-year-old. Multnomah County's Board of Commissioners held a virtual town hall to discuss proposed updates to the county's sanctuary policies. County Chair Jessica Vega Peterson and Commissioner Shannon Singleton say the board is looking to strengthen the county's sanctuary status to increase support for immigrants, while local immigration enforcement by federal agents is also increasing.
And this is our way of standing up and not only showing our values, but saying we are going to be responsive, we are going to be flexible, we are going to be as fast as possible in responding to what is happening.
The board says it wants to make it clear that all county programs and services are accessible to everyone, regardless of immigration status. It plans to take up a draft resolution of these proposed updates to the county's sanctuary policies at a meeting this coming Thursday. A federal judge blocked the Trump administration's efforts to punish states with fines related to food assistance programs. The U.S. District Court for Oregon temporarily blocked the penalties and protected the continued operation of SNAP benefits. Last month, the attorneys general for both Oregon and Washington sued the Trump administration over guidance that attempted to cut off SNAP benefits for tens of thousands of people. Washington Attorney General Nick Brown said, quote, "We will continue to do everything we can to keep this critical program running smoothly so that Washington seniors, children, and people living with disabilities can put food on the table this holiday season." Now, the qualification criteria for SNAP did change this month, so that means roughly 37,000 people in Oregon could lose their benefits. As of December 1st, the following people have to prove that they're working or volunteering at least 80 hours a month to qualify: adults 18 to 64 years old, adults who do not have children under the age of 14, veterans, people in foster care, and people who are homeless. KGW's Blair Best talked to a SNAP eligibility expert at the Oregon Department of Human Services about the change.
What happens to people who can't meet those work requirements because of, say, unstable housing, caregiving responsibilities, or lack of transportation?
Yeah. So part of our goal is to really build a plan around with those individuals. Every time you talk to one of our staff, they're going to be asking around exceptions. Some of those things may allow us to give you an exemption so you do not have to report for that period of time.
People who no longer qualify under the rule changes can only get SNAP benefits for 3 months across a 3-year period. You can watch more of Blair's coverage on this story on our TV streaming app, KGW Plus, on the KGW YouTube page, and on our website, kgw.com. All right, one more piece of SNAP news here. More than a dozen states are increasing restrictions on what recipients can get with their benefits. Right now, most states do not allow SNAP recipients to buy hot foods or non-food items like paper towels or soap. Starting next year, some states are also going to ban junk food, things like soda, candy, and energy drinks. This change, however, does not include the states of Oregon or Washington, so stay tuned for more on that. Live look outside right now from our Pioneer Courthouse Square cam. That Christmas tree all lit up with Christmas Eve. We established, Rod, 1 week from tomorrow, so it's coming quick.
Coming quick. Pretty wet outside. We've had rain for the last handful of hours over downtown Portland. That rain is starting to break up, and we will get into some dry time probably in the 8 o'clock hour, and then it turns into a pretty nice day. Now, this is the watch warning map from the Weather Service, and you would rarely see it more colored in than what it currently is. Most of this is some sort of a wind event or wind watch warning or advisory. The green is our next big flood watch, which comes in with hours of steady rain on Thursday and Friday. And by the way, the red high wind warnings, including at the coast overnight tonight, including parts of central Oregon and the East Gorge out in the Columbia Basin overnight tonight for some gusty winds. Here's that rain that's starting to break up over downtown Portland. This did extend all the way to Tillamook, but you can see it's clearly breaking up as it moves off to the east. But for right now, still light rain falling across the Columbia from the springs at the waterfront. Another mild morning. We're at 54 degrees. West Hills looking at some rain as well. 51 degrees, our Oregon Zoo live camera. Scappoose at 49 and Happy Valley at 49, but the rest of us are hanging at 50 or better. In fact, it's 56 right now in Dallas and in Salem. So today's kind of a gap day, really pretty quiet, and when it's all said and done, pretty nice. As I mentioned, we could get up to 60 for high. I just don't see much rain from 9 o'clock through 6 o'clock today. Pretty dry. 50s at the beach, could hit 60 in the valley. We've got upper 50s in Bend and Matters. We've got a dry day out across eastern Oregon. Now, we do have an impact alert up for overnight tonight. There's a front at midnight that brings us a quick hitting heavy rain band with some gusty winds. Could have some 40-mile-per-hour gusts. Then tomorrow back to a gap day. Just some scattered showers, but cooler. Tomorrow 48. Then the flood watch for hours of steady rain all day Thursday, all of Thursday night into Friday. We'll see if we have any additional river flooding issues. Again, that's Thursday and Friday. Here's Chris.
Certainly busy weather-wise, and the traffic's starting to get a little busier out there as well as we are deeper into our Tuesday morning drive. We'll take you to West Lynn, I-205 southbound right now, coming over the Abernathy Bridge and then down past Highway 43. We've got the typical slowing there. Our speed sensor showed that moving along at about 22 miles an hour. Let's head up, speaking of bridges, to the Interstate Bridge. The I-5 South commute, of course, bunching up at SR 14, and right now that's one of our slower commutes out there. In the rain looks a little lighter now than it did earlier this morning, but the drive time is building. 23 minutes now. Drew, that's the drive from Main Street to the Fremont Bridge.
Thank you, Chris.
We've been seeing refrigerators, trusses, trees, and all that coming down the river. Luckily, they've missed all of our docks.
That's a local business owner near the Oregon coast talking about that landslide that took out part of Highway 229 last week. Coming up on Sunrise, we're going to hear more from him and take a look at the current conditions there in Lincoln County.
The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust on your time. Track how the weather will impact your day.
Certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
Extended, continuous coverage of breaking news, live from the scene.
That snowpack is still heavy.
Go deeper with in-depth interviews and exclusive reporting. All the local news you need, live or on demand. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free. The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust. Track how the weather will impact your day. Breaking news, live from the scene. All the local news you need. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free. On Weather Impact Alert Days, stay informed, prepared, and connected with KGW and KGW Plus. Coverage that alerts you to what's coming and how it will impact you. Watch extended weather coverage on KGW Plus.
We're following up on the landslide that wiped out part of Highway 229 and damaged 2 homes near the Oregon coast last week. People living in 10 other homes were also evacuated, and there's concern that this week's weather could make things worse. KGW's Devin Haskins went to Lincoln County for a first-hand look. He also talked to a man who both lives and works in that area.
A massive landslide along Highway 229 between Kernville and Siletz. Trees, mud, and debris wiping out the highway and damaging 2 homes.
It's devastating.
Todd Fulfer runs the Chinook Bend RV Resort a few miles down the road and says some of the devastation has floated by him on the Siletz River.
We've been seeing refrigerators, trusses, trees, and all that coming down the river. Luckily, they've missed all of our docks.
And this viewer video from down the river, closer to the mouth of the ocean, shows what appears to be a wall floating.
I mean, it could have been very well easily as happening here. I mean, with the mountain right here, and it hits home pretty hard. I mean, we're a real close community.
And with more rain coming, the possibility of more landslides is a real concern.
If this rain continues, it will. I mean, there's so many steep slopes down there, so there may be other ones.
Scott Burns is a geology professor at Portland State University. He says the hillside has weak soil and is very steep.
Anytime we have an atmospheric river coming to the Pacific Northwest, and we seem to be getting more and more and more of them, we know that there's going to be huge amounts of water that's going to be put onto the slopes, and the steeper the slopes, they are going to be more prone to landslides.
ODOT says the landslide is still active and the ground unstable, and they aren't sure if the road underneath is still intact. A small section of the highway is completely shut off, and for Todd Fulfer, who lives on one side and his daughter attends school on the other, the only way around, an hour and a half both ways.
Well, we got to get up extra early because it's now an hour and a half to get her to school, an hour and a half to get back. So it's 3 hours in the morning and 3 hours in the evening to pick her up.
That man says he's going to transfer his daughter to another school, one that's closer, because again, ODOT does not know when this road will reopen. In Lincoln County, I'm Devin Haskins, KGW News.
Wow. That part of the Oregon coast, sections of Northwest Washington especially, they don't need any more rain right now, but we're going to get it later this week.
So here's the deal. So we get a shot of heavy rain tonight. Could be another 1/2 inch to 3/4. That'll put us up well over 5 inches. Probably get us up to our normal total of what we expect for the entire month. Then we could have another 2 inches of rain Thursday, Friday. There's more rain next week. We could be looking at a 10-inch December month easily,
right?
Which would not be a record, but it catches your attention for sure. The next weather event is a fast-hitting one, maybe a 4 or 5 hour window of some noticeable gusty winds and some heavy rain. This comes through overnight tonight. The front that triggers it is right at midnight tonight. So pretty quiet day today. Hope you have time to get out and enjoy. We will get into some dry time. We'll get up to about 60. But overnight tonight for the coast, high wind warning, could be some winds getting up to about 65. Kind of garden variety stuff for you folks. Coast range, a wind advisory, mainly above 500 feet for 55-mile-per-hour winds tonight. Wind warning tonight, and this continues into tomorrow for the East Gorge, the Dalles out into the Columbia Basin, and also the east slopes of the Cascades over into parts of central Oregon. So good morning, Madras. You folks could have winds in excess of 50 miles per hour. And then the valley gusts tonight with that fast-hitting front coming in, about 35 to 45. Again, this happens mostly when you're at home overnight tonight. It might wake you up. So here's what the wind looks like. This is after midnight tonight, 12:37. There's a 54 gust in Astoria, 50 in Tillamook, 51 in Lincoln City. This shows the strongest winds right behind the front. South winds this evening, and then the front passes, and you get a gust of west winds. This shows right around midnight to the 1 a.m. hour, 43-mile-per-hour southwest winds gusting in Salem. And then all of that will calm down to more typical breezes by daybreak tomorrow morning. But here's the continuation tomorrow morning of 38 in Hood River, Lyle 39, west winds could be popping over 50 in that part of the gorge out into the basin at least through tomorrow morning. So we're watching that. How much rain with that fast hitting system tonight? This shows a 1/2 inch in Corvallis to about 3/4 inch in Portland and similar amounts over at the coast. And then don't forget, we have a flood watch. That brings us hours of steady rain Thursday night, and Friday. There could be another 1 to 2 inches of rain. So we're not done. Here's Futurecast 1 o'clock showing off a pretty nice Tuesday, really. Here we are getting into the evening. Now the rain starts to pick up. There's that heavy rain band overnight, ending as early as 3 in the morning in terms of the main rain band. Snow levels lower tonight to 3,000 feet. Could be some snow over the Cascade Passes tomorrow morning if that snow level down at 3,000 feet. Tomorrow overall, Wednesday's a gap day with just some scattered showers. Then here comes the next wave. This is an atmospheric river, but it's a short-lived one. Gives us hours of steady rain all day Thursday night into Friday. Weather models love 1.5 inches to even 2 inches of rain. And this is heavy rain where you see the yellow and the orange for hours coming down. Unclear to me when that finally gets out of here during the day on Friday. Back to where we are right now. Portland holding on to the last bit of rain that's been coming through for the last hours. Lots of dry time back to our west. Again, it turns into a pretty nice day. Timberline right now, still well above freezing up there, 36, but they'll get some snow tonight into tomorrow morning. There's the coast, Chinook Winds Casino Resort, showing off mild temps, 55. Here's the temperature map. Pick out your city. It's 50 over in Bend this morning, by the way, as well. And here's your 7-day forecast. Impact alert for overnight tonight mainly for that front and gusty wind spurt. 60 today, cooler tomorrow, scattered showers 48. Then the impact alert for a washout of a Thursday. This is heavy driving rain throughout a good chunk of the day all the way into Friday. Could have rising river levels and flood issues Thursday overnight into the day Friday, maybe lingering into Saturday morning. The weekend does show some rain. Right now, Sunday looks to be wetter than Saturday. And here is Chris McGinnis.
Okay, Rod, thanks for that. Let's get you out the door with a look at the road. Oh, lost one of our cameras. I apologize for that. Let's take you to the east side of Vancouver, I-205. Most of the slowing here is actually on the on-ramp from SR 500 to I-205 south. That's what all those taillights are. But it's wet, so that's certainly not helping things there. Switching gears, where are we going? Where's my camera going? That's not where I wanted to go. Okay, back up to the interstate bridge. I-5 traffic. This is our slowest freeway commute. I'm sorry that we lost the camera, but the drive there is certainly thick right now on I-5. It's a 25-minute ride right now from Main Street to the Fremont Bridge. And last but not least, I'm going to go back over to Oregon City. Looks like we're have a fender bender on 213 northbound near South Maple Lane. So this drive is starting to tighten up a little bit. It's right near the intersection with Beaver Creek Road. That's our first trouble spot that I've seen so far this morning in Clackamas County. Sunrise rolls on after this break.
The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust on your time. Track how the weather will impact your day.
Certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
Extended, continuous coverage of breaking news live from the scene.
That snowpack is still heavy.
Go deeper with in-depth interviews and exclusive reporting. All the local news you need, live or on demand. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free. On Weather Impact Alert Days, stay informed, prepared, and connected with KGW and KGW Plus. Coverage that alerts you to what's coming and how it will impact you. Watch extended weather coverage on KGW Plus. The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust. Track how the weather will impact your day. Breaking news live from the scene. All the local news you need. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free.
The search continues in Rhode Island for the gunman who killed 2 students and injured 9 others at Brown University on Saturday. Yesterday, investigators released more videos and photos showing what they're calling a person of interest. The FBI is offering a $50,000 reward for any information that leads to an arrest. Congress has Congress has less than 3 days to keep many Americans from experiencing a spike in health care costs, with Affordable Care Act subsidies from the pandemic set to expire here in the new year. Bipartisan groups are starting to push for a compromise on Capitol Hill. Here's reporter Amy Kiley with the latest.
You're going to anticipate the enormous sticker shock of your premiums going up.
New plans are emerging to keep healthcare costs from skyrocketing for millions of Americans. Lawmakers are scheduled to start their holiday breaks at the end of this week, and certain Obamacare subsidies are set to expire while they're on recess. Leaders of the two parties are largely at an impasse. Democrats want a straight-up 3-year extension of the subsidies. House Republicans want a floor vote this week on a plan that lets them expire.
This proposal focuses on expanding the availability of association health plans, allowing employers to really band together to purchase coverage. It also includes new transparency requirements for pharmacy benefit managers.
Now, some centrist Republicans and a handful of Democrats are working on compromises in both chambers. In the House today, a bipartisan group is taking steps to try to force a floor vote on their plan. It would extend the subsidies, but with stricter income caps and new fraud prevention measures.
It's hundreds of dollars a month for many Americans throughout the country. We have to do right by those people.
In the Senate, a bipartisan group that met last night is considering a way to extend the subsidies with reforms. They say they hope to announce their plan before the holiday break.
I think there's a deal that could be done.
I'm Amy Kiley reporting.
Coming up at 7:30, tracking breaking news in downtown Portland this morning where a pedestrian was hit by a vehicle. Sunrise reporter Thomas Schultz will bring us the latest.
People are still frustrated because we saw prices rise quite quickly coming out of the pandemic. They're never going back down.
Also coming up in our next half hour, consumers feeling the pinch from high prices. We'll look at what could be driving up costs.
KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust. Track how the weather will impact your day. Breaking news live from the scene. All the local news you need. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free. On Weather Impact Alert Days, stay informed, prepared, and connected with KGW and KGW Plus. Coverage that alerts you to what's coming and how it will impact you. Watch extended weather coverage on KGW Plus.
We have now issued a weather impact alert.
We could expect conditions in some parts of our area to change drastically pretty soon, right?
And very quickly, yes.
This is significant rainfall coming our way.
You'll definitely want to be extra cautious.
Certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
We've got the potential for some tree limbs or even trees or power lines to come down.
Of course, when you hear thunder, it's always best to take cover.
On Weather Impact Alert Days, stream extended coverage on KGW Plus.
We are coming up on 7:29 on your Tuesday morning drive, and it's getting busy out there right now. The I-5 commute from Clark County, 26 minutes to get you in from Main Street to the Fremont Bridge. There's a look at some of our traffic cameras around the area. You can see the bunching up there at the Interstate Bridge. That's I-5 at SR 14, of course. And I want to pick it up in Clackamas County. We're just getting word now of a crash near Clackamas Community College on Highway 213 northbound. I don't see the crash here, but you can see the northbound drive really, really slow getting around that. I'll keep you posted on that as we roll through the next little while. Rainy out there this morning, Rod.
It's been raining for several hours coming into Portland, but we're about ready to get into some dry time. You see that rain starting to break up, and behind that, there's not much out there, and we're going to get into a day that's really pretty quiet and really very nice to be out and about. Right now, it is dry down in Salem, 56 degrees, not much wind. You get some sun when you pop over the Cascades. That's Warm Springs, Canita Hot Springs Resort, and if you are over there east of the Cascades today, mainly a dry day is expected, and it'll be warm. 50s in Central Oregon today as well. Portland could get up to 60. Now we have an impact alert for overnight tonight. for a quick hitting heavy rain band, maybe half of an inch of rain or more and some gusty winds up to about 40 miles per hour. The flood watch for hours of steady rain Thursday into Friday.
7:30 half hour of the Sunrise Show on this Tuesday morning. A live look right now from our Pioneer Courthouse Square camera showing off the Christmas tree all lit up here at 7:30 in the morning. Come on over, Chris McGinnis. We're stalling for Chris to hustle back to the desk. We actually have a lot going on here right now. We have some breaking news to get to in just a minute. A pedestrian hit in downtown Portland by a car. So Chris is going to cover some of that for you in his traffic update. But first, Rod, we want to talk about our weather.
Well, it's been a nice morning in Salem where it's been mainly dry. Portland has had, I don't know, a good 4 hours at this point, a fairly steady rain moving through. That's starting to push out. And once this continues to exit, see it moving off to the east, we'll get into really a mainly dry day with cloudy skies and potentially record temperatures for a second day in a row. Here's our sky camera down in Salem. Good visibility. You can see the cloud cover. Mild weather, 56. Still light rain. The back end of it now moving through downtown Portland where it's 53 degrees. To the bus stop we go. So some light showers out there currently. Sun up 7:45. Most of us are 50 or better. And while there is a shower threat, I really think we're going to be mainly dry at noon and mainly dry when the kids get out of school. And if it's 60 degrees when the kids get out of school today, that will be a record-tying temperature. Here is Chris.
Our fourth 60-degree day of the month of December. That is unbelievable. All right, the drive time's on the rise right now. Almost 30 minutes to get you in from Clark County on I-5. That's from Main Street to the Fremont Bridge. Other drive times, of course, are building now that we're into the 7:30 time frame here. 31 minutes get you in from Troutdale on Interstate 84. And I want to take you down to Oregon City here. Just get word of a possible crash on Highway 213 northbound near Beaver Creek Road. That's right near the campus of Clackamas Community College. There's your northbound commute. That is certainly slow and go getting around that. I'll keep you posted on that. And of course, as we mentioned off the top, we've got a situation in downtown involving a pedestrian struck by a vehicle. Thomas Schultz is live on the scene. He's got more on this. Thomas?
Yeah, hey, good morning, Chris. And yeah, you can see there's still some police presence here. This is on Jefferson and Park here in southwest Portland downtown. You can see a couple police cars still on scene here. Here's what they told us what happened. Essentially, there was a man sleeping along this, which is this ramp here where people can come in and park or pull out, and that's when they were hit by a car. They tell us that that person will be okay. We saw them being loaded into the ambulance and being taken off of scene here probably about 5-10 minutes ago. Of course, these police cars, they just got into their cars. They've been kind of continuing the investigation here, but much of that presence here, there's a couple fire trucks or fire crews here earlier and ambulance as well. They've left the scene at this point. That person being transported to the hospital, again, doesn't seem like it's significant injuries while those police still remain on scene for the investigation. But look, as that morning commute gets underway here in southwest Portland, obviously here Jefferson is a pretty busy roadway throughout the day. Just something to keep mind of over the next few minutes here at least, as one of these lanes is slightly blocked due to these police cars here. Doesn't seem like it's going to be a major problem throughout the morning or anything like that. I anticipate that these police officers actually take off here in the next few minutes or so because it seems like a lot of their work has been done, but just something to be cognizant of and keep an eye out here if you need to use this roadway as part of your morning commute. Guys.
All right, Thomas Schultz live for us in downtown Portland.
This is scary, scary for my kids. Like, are we going to be okay? Or are we going to be able to find another place?
Some families in King County near Seattle had to evacuate after a levee holding the Green River failed. A temporary fix was put in place last night, and people there are allowed to go back to their homes, but they have to be ready in the event that conditions get worse. Northwest Washington took the brunt of last week's storm that hit the region, and water levels were already high when that levee failed. Again, a short-term fix is what's stopping the flow of water right now from the levee.
We will come back after this event and do a more thorough long-term fix, and we'll probably be doing work on a number of facilities throughout the system after this event is over when the water's lower and we can assess what damage has been.
There have been no reports so far of any injuries from that levee break. We also want to let you know that we've activated our Northwest Response fundraiser to help those people impacted by the flooding. You can donate by scanning the QR code on your screen. That money goes directly to the American Red Cross. You can also visit U.S. Bank branches both in Oregon and Washington to make a donation in person. And we have a link to donate on our website, KGW.com. Oregon Governor Tina Kotek is applauding a permanent injunction that restored brick grants across the country. BRIC, B-R-I-C, stands for Building Resilient Infrastructure and Communities. Back in April, President Trump froze $135 million in federal BRIC grants to Oregon. The governor's office says that funding freeze hit Eastern Oregon hard, with more than $85 million worth of disaster risk projects canceled. Governor Kotek said in part, quote, President Trump's decision to undermine the safety and resiliency of Oregon communities was reckless and harmful. A federal judge confirmed it was unlawful too, she says.
This is our initial run on Route 721 from Portland to Boise.
A new bus line is running daily from Portland to Boise, making it easier for people in rural parts of Oregon to travel long distances and also for tourists to reach Portland. For almost all of this year, ODOT says many rural Oregonians have not had any long-distance bus service to help them visit family or travel to doctor's appointments. That void is changing, though, thanks to a federal grant worth $600,000 that will fund daily bus service that connects Portland to Boise. Riders say a ticket costs just ticket costs just under $70. Transportation officials say it'll make a big difference for people in Eastern Oregon. And Megan Conway, the CEO of Travel Portland, says the system will help boost the local economy.
Tourism, some of you may not know, is an opportunity where travelers come into Portland and spend about $5.5 billion in our community. It's an economic engine, it's an economic driver, and it's critical for our small businesses, for those folks who work in our hotels or might run a storefront.
The Portland to Boise bus route started yesterday. It's going to last for an entire year, but to continue beyond that, they say it would need more grant funding or private business to take over the cost completely. Meanwhile, coming up at tonight's school board meeting, members of the Portland Public School Board expected to discuss a plan to pull more students into Jefferson High School. So for years, a lot of kids in Jefferson's jurisdiction have been able to choose between going to Jefferson or going to 3 other high schools, McDaniel, Grant, and Roosevelt. Right now, there's less than 400 kids at Jefferson, 400 kids at the entire high school. The other 3 schools have over 1,000 more students than that. So tonight, the school board is expected to discuss ways to slowly bring up Jefferson's enrollment. They're also expected to discuss transit plans to help kids reach the high school and plans to add new courses at Jefferson. Tonight's school board meeting starts at 6 o'clock. Today marks the start of the Oregon Dungeness crab season off the Oregon coast. After weeks of delay, crab harvesting will open up along the coast from Cape Falcon near Manzanita all the way down to the California border. Let's bring Rod Hill back into the mix here. So, Rod, what are you looking at there?
Yeah, kind of a gap day today. So, take advantage. If you think about yesterday afternoon, I took Maximus, our golden, for a walk. It was 60 degrees. There wasn't really any wind in my neighborhood. It was dry. It was fantastic. We're going to get into similar periods of that type of weather today. The rain that's been falling in Portland this morning early is now moving off to the east. And while there are some showers back to the west, we're going to have more dry time than wet with the very mild weather again during the morning and afternoon hours of this Tuesday. Iris is a little washed out, but there's a view from the downtown area over the Wells Fargo building, from the Wells Fargo building. 53 is the number. There's some better visibility and some water droplets on the lens from the Providence Park live camera. 51 degrees, no wind. 52 Kelso and Astoria. 50 in the Dalles and Bend. So the mild weather extends all the way east of the Cascades. And then it's colder in Burns, 31, and colder this morning out in Baker City, 27, where you folks will find dry weather today. Garrus is our pet of the day. Beautiful cat. Charcoal smoky gray there. Pet of the day at kgw.com is the email address. Send us your pet's name and photo and they will become our pet of the day. All right, afternoon weather map. Dry out east. I think mainly a dry day in central Oregon as well. Partly cloudy skies being reported right now. Bend 57, Matters 58. Could hit 60 again in the valley. We will certainly be in the upper 50s easily for a decent day. I've got 60 potentially. Impact alert is for a fast-hitting heavy rain band and gusty wind period overnight tonight. And then tomorrow back into kind of a gap day, but cooler, 48 degrees of scattered showers. Thursday, Friday is our next atmospheric river with a flood watch up. It's a fast-hitting system, meaning it's not going to be days and days. The steady rain, though, all day Thursday night, and Friday morning. Here's Chris.
But, of course, that heightens the concern in areas that were already impacted by that. And one of those, as we mentioned off the top of our newscast in Lincoln County, a reminder that Highway 229 is closed north of Siletz because of this landslide that came down late last week. Again, that's a full closure for about a mile stretch of that highway. So the detour, it's a lengthy one. Locals are having to take US 101 to get around that. It's just a real tough situation there on the Oregon coast with that. All right, back to your freeway drive. Of course, we are getting busier now that we're into the 7:30 half hour. I wanted to pick it up with this earlier situation reported near Clackamas Community College. It looks like whatever crash situation we had there has cleared, but we've got the northbound Highway 213 commute still running a little thick there near Beaver Creek Road. Back over to the west side, inbound Sunset, foggy, slow, little drippy there as well. Right now we're puttering along at about 12 miles an hour. The trip in from Hillsborough at last check now has jumped up to 35 minutes in building. That's from Brookwood Parkway to the Vista Tunnel. True?
All right, thank you, Chris.
People are still frustrated because we saw prices rise quite quickly coming out of the pandemic. They're never going back down.
From groceries to gas and power bills, prices climbing. With the new inflation report expected out on Thursday, we'll take a look at what could be driving up costs and what it means for your budget when the Sunrise Show is streaming live here at 7 o'clock continues in 2 minutes.
On Weather Impact Alert Days, stay informed, prepared, and connected with KGW and KGW Plus. Coverage that alerts you to what's coming and how it will impact you. Watch extended weather coverage on KGW Plus. The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust. Track how the weather will impact your day. Breaking news live from the scene. All the local news you need. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free.
We have now issued a weather impact alert.
We could expect conditions in some parts of our area to change drastically pretty soon, right?
And very quickly, yes.
This is significant rainfall coming our way.
You'll definitely want to be extra cautious.
Certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
We've got the potential for some tree limbs or even trees or power lines to come down.
Of course, when you hear thunder, it's always best to take cover.
On Weather Impact Alert Days, stream extended coverage on KGW Plus.
Coming up this Thursday, the Bureau of Labor Statistics will release their final Consumer Price Index report for the year. It's the first inflation report since September because of the government shutdown that started in October. Here's reporter Jen Sullivan with more.
From groceries to natural gas and electric bills, costs are rising and consumers are feeling the crunch, according to the latest Consumer Price Index report.
People are still frustrated because we saw prices rise quite quickly coming out of the pandemic. They're never going back down.
Because of inflation, the most recent data shows American households are spending $208 more a month to purchase the same goods and services as they were a year ago, and over $1,043 more a month than they did at the start of 2021, according to data from Moody's Analytics.
We hear loud and clear how people are experiencing really costs.
Last week, the Federal Reserve lowered interest rates by 1/4 percentage point, which will make it cheaper to borrow money for things like credit cards and car loans. One of the reasons they lowered rates was because they say inflation is cooling.
If you get away from tariffs, inflation is in the low 2s, right? So it's really tariffs that's causing most of the inflation overshoot.
Powell says inflation due to tariffs will likely be short-lived, but experts say that doesn't mean costs will come down.
Inflation, it might slow down, but we're still going to have higher prices.
Many experts say the best way for consumers to feel better about the economy is for wages to increase. For Consumer Watch, I'm Jen Sullivan.
Target is making some headlines, trying to win back shoppers with a new concept store in New York's trendy Soho neighborhood. This is a look inside the store. It features designer collaborations, beauty products, and stylish clothing. Now, Target's incoming CEO says this is part of an attempt to bring back what he says was the glory days of Target.
The glory days?
Yeah, I believe that ended when Amazon said, give us by the end of the day, and we'll get that stuff to your front door. You don't have to leave your house. All right, Powerball news, the jackpot up to an estimated $1.25 billion.
Hallelujah.
Oh, yeah. With a cash option rod. If you just want the cash in hand up front, you can take $572 million home.
Okay, all right.
The next drawing is tomorrow night. Get your tickets. It's the second largest Powerball jackpot this year, and it's only the second time in Powerball history that the game has offered back-to-back billion-dollar jackpots. It's like a billion-dollar game now.
Yeah, that's a lot of money.
I haven't played the last round or this round.
I bought a ticket, just one line tickets, which is $2 a play. Okay. To the pot last night. Thank you. I was going to check my ticket when I got home, and I don't have to. Thank you for ruining my day. All right, let's get you out the door with a weather forecast. Look at this map. This is the watch warning map from the Weather Service. Again, it would take me 3 hours to label everything. Most of the colors are for wind. We have a wind warning overnight tonight that extends through tomorrow morning for the Dalles out into the Columbia Basin, also coming off the east slopes of the Cascades down into Madison Bend. We have a wind warning just tonight only. It's over well before daybreak tomorrow along the coast. The green is a flood watch. This is like the flood watch we had last week. From the coast to the Cascades, this is Thursday and Friday. That's when our next atmospheric river rise. It's kind of a short-lived atmospheric river, but it will bring absolutely steady widespread rain all day Thursday night into Friday. I'm not sure what time Friday that winds down, but the models love just that Thursday into Friday morning event being 1.5 inches to 2 inches. So there's concerns that the rivers, which are already running high, will jump up over flood stage again, especially the ones coming out of the coast range. So we'll be watching all of that. All right. So the next time our weather gets active is overnight tonight. There's a front that comes in at midnight. During the day today, we're actually pretty nice. But for tonight, high wind warning for the coast, 65 mile per hour winds, coast range mainly above 500 feet, 55 mile per hour gusts. That wind warning could be 50 to 60 mile per hour gusts as well out into the Columbia Basin, including the Dalles and the East Gorge, and also down to parts of Central Oregon, including Jefferson County. Valley winds tonight, no advisories posted, but 35 to 45 mile per hour gusts. Could be a brief spurt of that. Again, the front comes in at about midnight tonight. Here's what the Futurecast shows for winds tonight. This is 12:30. This is behind the front. So sometimes you get the strongest winds behind the front when the wind direction quickly jumps to the west. And that's what modeling is picking up on. There's a 54 mile per hour gust in Astoria. Maybe we have some gusts to 60, 65. Here are the 40 mile per hour winds in Salem overnight tonight after midnight at 43. Then by tomorrow morning, the winds are basically back down to normal breezes. But we still got gusty winds tomorrow morning shooting from Hood River out into Arlington and Hermiston. Now for today, light winds during the day, 5 to 15 for the most part. Lots of dry time opening up. Here is the evening hours, and here is the shot of heavier rain later this evening overnight, ending in the 3 o'clock hour tomorrow morning. Now notice the snow levels drop. That blue is snow down to 3,000 feet in the Cascades. So if you're traveling tomorrow morning for the first time in seemingly forever, there could be some snow, light accumulations over the passes. Tough to tell how much moisture is on the back end of that front. All right, this is just tonight. 1/2 inch to 3/4 could come in for the coast and the valley. Then we have just some scattered showers tomorrow day, and then we've got that 1.5 to 2 inches potentially falling on Thursday and Friday. And notice the difference. 4 in Corvallis, 1.39 in Kelso. That big flow with the next atmospheric river Thursday and Friday morning. Models really love that setting up across the southern half of our state. Here is the rain right now. It's been raining for about 4 hours in Portland, but not right now. It's broken up and it's moved out. There's some light scattered showers to our west, but we're going to open up some nice dry time today. There's the wet pavement from the Chehalem Tasting Room camera out in Sherwood. Temperatures are crazy mild again, including 52 Kelso, 56 Salem, and 50 degrees in Bend. Again, during the day today, more dry time than wet. Heavy rain and wind tonight. Temperatures back up to about 60. Similar numbers in Southwest Washington for you. 60 today. There's the alert tonight. There's the showery day tomorrow. And cooler, 48 tomorrow. And then the steady rain with the flood watch potential Thursday and Friday. Still rain over the weekend. Right now, Sunday looks to be wetter than Saturday. Here is Chris.
Otto, you ready for this?
I'm ready.
That would be this month's 4th 60-degree day. I just looked up the numbers. PDX is running 8.2 degrees above average for the month of December thus far. We're halfway through the month. That is unbelievable.
Wow.
warm. All right, the drive right now getting pretty busy out there. You're inbound Sunset up to 35 minutes from Hillsborough. Quick check of the trip south of town. This is near Bridgeport Village. There's your southbound I-5 drive. It's a little bunched up from there down towards Nyberg. The northbound commute really slow basically through the 205 interchange, and that's why the drive in from Wilsonville has jumped up to about 35 minutes. There's the on-ramp from Hollywood. You can see westbound I-84. It's not as rainy as it was a half an hour ago, so that's good. Hopefully the rain lessening will ease the drive a little bit, but right now we are thick over the Interstate Bridge. Drew, at last check, almost 30 minutes to get you from Main Street to the Fremont.
All right, thank you, Chris.
Even when things are tough and even when things are hard, we double down on good.
People turned out in Tigard last night to condemn the terrorist attack this past weekend in Australia that investigators are saying was inspired by ISIS. We'll have more on that when the Sunrise Show continues after this.
The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust on your time. Track how the weather will impact your day.
Certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
Extended, continuous coverage of breaking news live from the scene.
That snowpack is still heavy.
Go deeper with in-depth interviews and exclusive reporting. All the local news you need, live or on demand. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free.
We have now issued a weather impact alert.
We could expect conditions in some parts of our area to change drastically pretty soon, right?
And very quickly, yeah.
This is significant rainfall coming our way.
You'll definitely want to be extra cautious.
Certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
We've got the potential for some tree limbs or even trees or power lines to come down.
Of course, when you hear thunder, it's always best to take cover.
On Weather Impact Alert Days, stream extended coverage on KGW Plus.
This was the Sydney Opera House in Australia last night, lit up with a menorah to honor the victims of an anti-Semitic mass shooting that officials now say was inspired by ISIS. According to Australian officials, at least 15 people died and more than 24 others were hurt after two gunmen shot at people attending a Hanukkah celebration this past weekend. Australia's Prime Minister says the shooters, a 50-year-old father and his 24-year-old son, were inspired by ISIS.
Radical perversion of Islam is absolutely a problem. It is something that has been identified globally as a problem as well. ISIS is created by an evil ideology that has been called out not just by the Australian government but globally as well.
More people would have likely died had it not been for the heroic act of this man who charged at one of the shooters and took his gun away. He's the owner of a fruit shop. He was shot in the shoulder by the second shooter, but he did survive. Local Jewish communities also gathered last night to condemn that attack. KGW's Catherine Cook spent the second night of Hanukkah in Tigard, where safety and strength were top of mind.
The rabbi here said this night was about standing proudly as Jews to affirm their faith, resilience, and hope. And they did that amid an increased police presence that they were grateful for.
Tonight is not about fear, and it's not a night to hide.
A spirit of courage lit Universal Plaza in Tigard Monday night, night 2 of Hanukkah, the Festival of Lights. From fire artistry to tiny flames, those here felt something even stronger burning from within, a sense of resolve after Sunday's terrorist attack in Australia. 15 people were killed when two gunmen opened fire at a Hanukkah celebration at Bondi Beach.
The tragedy happened in this exact setting. right? The outdoor public menorah lighting. And it's a reminder why we do this, to bring light into the darkness.
Rabbi Menachem Orenstein of the Tigard Chabad Jewish Center said he never considered scaling back this celebration.
And I was thinking, how can we get more people to join? How can we make this bigger and better?
The police department did provide extra security and something more, solidarity. Tigard Police Chief Jamie McDonald did the honors of lighting the serving candle.
As we celebrate Hanukkah, let us celebrate light and community and neighbors.
Many others who aren't Jewish joined in solidarity, including Tigard City Councilman Faraz Gadusi.
Regardless of what would have happened, we would have all been here to support. It is something that's very important to us here in the community to make sure everyone feels included and really build those bridges in order to connect us all together.
Those affirmations mean a lot to so many here.
It makes me happy. It warms my heart, and it really does bring a light to everything around.
A miracle light. A miracle light that Rabbi Orenstein says burns brighter now than ever.
Even when things are tough and even when things are hard, we double down in good.
In Tigard, Catherine Cook, KGW News.
We're also covering the latest in Rhode Island. The search continues for the gunman who killed 2 students and injured 9 others at Brown University on Saturday. Yesterday, investigators released more videos and more photos showing what they're calling a person of interest. The FBI also offering a $50,000 reward for any information that leads to an arrest. Coming up at 8 o'clock on KGW Plus, details on a court hearing that's expected to start in just a few minutes here in Portland, involving a man accused of stalking a parent whose child died in the Sandy Hook school shooting 13 years ago. That parent currently works at OHSU. Sunrise reporter Thomas Schultz will join us live with more on this case. Again, that's expected to start, that case is, in just a few minutes. The 8 o'clock hour of Sunrise is coming your way also in just a few minutes. Stay with us right here on KGW Plus.